Ebullient greetings. I'm your host, Jacquie Bird of Jacquie Bird Spiritual Wellness, your guide to stress and anxiety relief, mindfulness, awareness, self-care, self-love, and personal growth. Welcome and thank you for joining me as we roll with peace in mind. Today's riff is Our Personal Pathways, a talk with Beth Bowles. Beth Bowles is a multi-hyphenate performer who has graced the stages and screens of Los Angeles for over 4 decades. A seasoned dancer, singer, and actor, her extensive credits span from the classic Sophisticated Ladies, I was in that show, and the Muppet movie, to modern hits like St. Denis Medical B Positive and Netflix The Perfect Couple. In 2021, a single performance changed the trajectory of her career. Alongside her best friend Cheryl Baxter Ratliff, Beth backed up rapper Da Baby at the Grammy Awards. Dubbed Da Baby Boomers by host Trevor Noah, the duo became an overnight sensation. Today, they boast over 684,000 TikTok followers and 90 million views, leading to features on The Dr. Phil Show, Access Hollywood, and Prevention Magazine. Represented by Clear Talent Group, Beth continues to bridge the gap between traditional media and digital influence, partnering with major brands like Waymo, Home Goods, and Nature Made. When she isn't on the set or filming content, Beth is a licensed real estate agent in Los Angeles, where she resides with her husband of 35 years, Paul. Welcoming Beth Bowles to the Roll with Peace in Mind podcast.
So everybody, we have already started the podcast without pressing record. So I was like, oh shoot, I gotta press record because the conversations would just going like that. So I have my friend Beth here, Beth Bowles, and we started talking about going for it. Just going for it. And I think that that's particularly important for those of us. It's important for everybody. Let's put it that way. I don't care whether you're 19 in your mom's basement or whether you are a seasoned individual in your later years. Go for it. Whatever it is, don't question it. That's what we started talking about. So I'm gonna throw it to my girl here.
Well, I want to just back up a second and take a moment and let people know how we know each other. And also I wanted to take a moment to thank you so much for the honor of being on your podcast, because you're such an inspiration, such a light. You have such a wonderful way of bringing this enlightened vision that you have that so many people aren't in touch with yet to others. And it goes back to our beginning. I mean, we met in a show called Sophisticated Ladies, which was all Duke Ellington's music.
Yes.
And we met in Oslo.
That's right.
Norway.
That's right.
Because we hadn't done the show together anywhere else. And
Which is crazy.
Yeah, there's so many different versions of it out there, but how great that we got to be in Oslo. What a beautiful place. Ooh. How unusual. I'd never been.
Me either.
And it wasn't a long sit down. We didn't stay there long, but it was lovely. And, we didn't really get to know each other that well.
Yeah.
But we stayed in contact. And then in 2017, my son, Kelly McCabe, passed away at 31. I'm going to get emotional. I didn't think I was, because it's been almost 10 years. And he had just died. And I was sitting in the living room. We were getting ready for his memorial. It was just a couple of weeks in. We were getting ready for his memorial that we were going to have at our house. And his girlfriend from 5th grade, who was just like the love of his life. They weren't together anymore, but she was so important to my husband and I, Candace. she had always stayed in contact with us. She was just like this joy, this little girl that we knew from 5th grade, dating our son through all this time. And she always adored him, and we loved her mom. Anyway, she's sitting in our living room, and I'm making all these poster boards to go around the house. I don't know why, of all these pictures of Kelly, my son, through the years. And we were putting together the years that Candace and Kelly had been together. And Candace was telling us stories that Paul and I, my husband, didn't even know about, that she was confiding in us about what they did and how they snuck out and blah, blah, blah. And we're drinking wine, and we're sitting there, looking at these pictures and telling stories and crying a little bit here and there. And it was just, total grief, love, fine. And I have my phone, and there's so many people that were writing me and texting me. And
take your time. I'm getting a little teary-eyed on this one too.
I mean, it was such a God thing. It was such a God thing. And Kelly, I know my son was looking. He was looking for people that were aware enough and in touch enough to be able to talk to us, to tell us, to communicate with us, and to tell us he was okay. And I look over, and you had been writing me. I don't know if I wrote you. I think you reached out to me.
Yeah, I wrote.
I mean, we could look back on our Facebook and read all this. It's
I know.
chilling. But yeah, I think you wrote, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit what I think, and then maybe you can tell me what you thought, because I was in such a different state of mind, and you were in a different state of mind too.
Yeah.
You're dealing with me, but you were saying, giving me my sympathy and condolences, and I was saying thank you or whatnot, and somehow you were alluding to the fact of knowing more than what we human commoners that live vacant on this planet sometimes don't tap into. And I was like, oh, are you a medium? Oh, do you read people? Oh, I wasn't sure. And you said, well, I don't really do this, but I'm not sure if you said, are you open? But I have a message from your son.
Yeah.
And so you started to tell me about, he wanted me to read the something like a, and I read it immediately. The something life of something fingers.
The life of Billy Fingers.
Fingers.
The
afterlife of Billy Fingers.
Yes.
And so I was writing that down, and here I am. I'm okay. Now I'm reading your thing, and Paul is sitting there, and Candace is sitting on the sofa next to me, and I'm reading all this stuff, and you're just going on about Kelly and how he's contacted you, and he wants you to know that everything's okay, and how much he loves you. And I'm telling this to them, and I just start to cry. And Candace comes over, and she hugs me, and it's like, Beth, it's going to be okay. And I look back to my phone, and you had written, see if you can feel yourself being hugged. And Candace was just hugging me. I mean, we were all like, ooh. I mean, it was just like, we felt you in the room with us. We felt Kelly in the room with us.
Oh my
It was just such a, I had many of these. You were one of the first. I had somebody before that I didn't even know, that went up to a friend of mine that had moved to Simi Valley, and she was working on the gym, and her daughter had babysat for Kelly, and they had lived across the street from us. So I knew her really well. She knew Kelly really well. And this woman who we didn't even know, and she didn't even know, came up to her and said, do you have a young man who just passed away? And so they started talking. And she said, I have a message for his mom. Can you have her contact me? And then there were so many, and I don't know if you can speak to this at all. And I know you're so in tune and in touch, and you were so right on with everything. And I can't thank you enough what that does for people. I needed to hear that so bad. And it meant so much that it was coming from you. And it was just like, oh man, how incredible is this? That you have the courage and you wanted to say something to me. And I'm so incredibly grateful.
Wow.
For that. And I tell this story all the time. Jackie, I tell the story all the time. But he, and I don't know if you've had this, but he reached out and kidnapped so many people's medium experiences, where he would go into my friends when they're talking to somebody else and they were on somebody else, and he would, and they'd be like, wait, there's somebody here. You know, did that time and time again, Jackie.
You know, the thing that I want people to know about folks that have left this plane in the physical is that they're always with you. And when they have a channel or a way to get a message to you where you're actually listening, they don't stop talking. They just keep going. And the messages that they want to share, any way that they can get through to you, they do. So, you know, it's yes, grieve, because you're going to grieve when that person is not there, but you are a clearer channel to receive the messages that they are trying to give you, if you can keep your grief where you're not overwhelmed. And I know that's hard if somebody close to you, and you're used to being able to touch them, and you feel that now they're gone and you can't touch them, but they are still touching you. And if you can just step away from the grief, the overwhelming grief, they can get through. They can speak to you, maybe not through a person, but in things that they leave, scents that you may smell of them, it's finding a piece of clothing that they couldn't find and you find it. There are so many ways that people who leave this earth try to connect with you. And it just so happened that on that particular day, Beth, I had written on your wall. I remember that. And you contacted me immediately. You inboxed me, and it was actually before you inboxed me, I had started to. He showed me what he looked like, and or he showed me. He appeared to me in the way that he wanted me to see him. And again, people, it's not this person, you know, materializes in your room. It's not anything like that. It was just, I had this image of him, and I remember so clearly, even though it was 5 years ago, I remember he appeared to me on my left side, which kind of told me that maybe he had not, because I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know him. I didn't know until I had read on Facebook that he had passed. But I think at that point it had been a year. So I kind of had the idea that he had not left. He had not been.
It wasn't even a year.
Oh, it was. He
died in October, and he died October 21st. And this was before his memorial, which was November 4th.
Oh, well, I had the impression that he had not been gone very long.
He was
because usually
very long.
When people speak, when I receive stuff, it's on my right side. So this was the first time I had received some information on my left side. So I kind of said, oh, I don't think he's been gone that long, but he appeared to me as this beautiful, beautiful, rosy-faced cherub, because he knew that I would understand that. Because when I was younger, I had a thing for cherubs. I mean, I was into Greek myths and all of that stuff when I was a kid. So it was so fitting that he would appear to me in that form. And also, he was blonde. And I remember saying to you, he showed me himself as being blonde. And you were like, he wasn't blonde. He wasn't blonde. And then his girlfriend brought a picture a headshot of him, and
Yes.
he was blonde in the headshot.
Yes. He had dyed his hair platinum blonde. Oh my gosh, Jackie. And you know what is interesting? You said he came through your left side.
Yes.
Well, he must do that because you said something about it being on the left and feel if you can be hugged on the left. And Candace came to me on my left side. And when I meditate, Kelly's here on my left.
Wow.
Left side.
Wow.
He's never on my right side. I have other people on my right side, but Kelly's always on my left side.
Well, again, thank you for sharing this with me, because when you don't know where people are, you don't know where people's heads are. When you receive information, and I mean, I'm not a medium by trade. I don't hang my shingle up as being a medium, but I have received information throughout my life from people that are no longer in physical form and given information to people. I've done that. And sometimes you don't know, if you don't know what a person's views are, it sounds a little weird going, hey, I got a message from your deceased loved one. You don't know if a person's going to look at you like, what?
And it was just recent. So, I mean, you're treading on thin ice with people, right?
Yes.
And, I don't know, you going back to saying, if you can push the grief away. I never felt like Kelly, and I'm still not sure if Kelly's ever, like he came to you, has come to me that way. Mm-hmm. However, I have always been open. Okay. But I think my grief, and that's why he chose so many other people to go through, because he knew he couldn't get to me.
Yes.
Because his dad and I were struggling so much in our sorrow that we couldn't. But this is a funny thing, bringing up the signs and stuff. I, being, only having one kid and being a boy, I was trying to be the best boy mom I could be. And so I would catch lizards for him all the time. Catching lizards. I'd like, and he'd like to turn them over on their stomach. And if you rub their stomach, they kind of like fall asleep.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So that was the thing. And he'd always go, yuck, a little yellow lizard, so we always laughed about that. And Jackie, I'm not kidding. The house that we live in, we had never had seen, and Kelly wasn't raised in this house. We had moved after Kelly had moved out to this other house. We'd never seen a lizard anywhere. After he passed, I had lizards in my kitchen, in my laundry basket. In January, when lizards should be hiding because it's cold, on January 1st, because he died in October, so it was the beginning of the year without him. There's this long lizard. We were going to watch the Macy Day, New Year's Day parade or whatever parade is on New Year's Day. It's stretched out in front of the TV like they're going to watch the parade with us. I had lizards all over my house.
Oh my God, that is so extraordinary. That
my laundry, all of a sudden there'd be like, there's a lizard.
Wow. Yeah, they will try. They will try any way they can to get your attention, to let them know that they're okay. They don't necessarily want to tell you what's going on with in the next life, but they want their loved ones to know. Every time that I've had this experience, the message has been the same. They want you to know that they're good, they're fine, they're happy, they're safe, and they're, it's all good. That's the message that they want you. And the other message, because I remember saying this to you, the other thing that he wanted you to know was not to be sad, to not spend your time grieving. That's the other message that I have received through people, for people who were grieving, to not spend your time grieving, and to remind you that your life is meant to be lived. That has been one of the biggest takeaways I have gotten, being a channel from someone in the non-physical for someone in the physical. The messages are always the same. I'm okay. And don't spend your time grieving. Spend your time living life to the fullest, because that's why you're here. That's always been.
And I remember you saying that, and I remember Paul and I, being sarcastic, laughing, going, well, a little too late. Way to say that now, because, so and to move on with this conversation to what we were going to talk about. So being on that side of grief and losing a child, and, this was such a big thing, because not only it redefined everything of who I was. I'll never be a grandparent. It's just Paul and I, now that I'm 68, all of my friends, I just had somebody have brain surgery. I have another friend with multiple myeloma who's going through a whole transplant thing. So you think about that, and I'm thinking, if anything happens to my husband, I'm alone. I don't have a family. Okay. So it's thinking of all of that. So everything changed of who I was. I wasn't a parent anymore, even though people go, oh, you'll always be a parent. Well, show me my kid. Right. I'll never be a grandparent. I'll never have a lineage, whatever people think that we need. And then also, who's going to take care of me and be there when I'm having, if something happens to me. Okay. Seeing all these friends that are now ill, but they have their husbands, their children, that are there by their bedsides. So all of that, not to play a victim or not to play a sorry pity patty, but you have to look at it differently. Your life is like, woo, I'm not that person anymore. There's no Christmas to celebrate. Paul and I have done our thing, right? I mean, we've made it all. But in that moment, you're thinking, wow, who am I now?
Oh, that's a biggie. And I think this is an important conversation, because we go through this in various parts of our lives. Either, you lose a job, you graduate from school. Like, I work with a lot of young people, so I'm seeing some of these kids that are, they've graduated college and they're like, adulting is hard. I don't know what to do. So it's like you get to these places in your life of this whole thing about identity is when you don't have whatever that is, be it your partner or your child or your job or your career. You have to go back into the redefinition of who you are, because most of us identify ourselves based on the external, woman, age, it's like, I think that sometimes you have to go even deeper to go, well, who am I really? Who am I really, stripped of all of these things? Who am I really? I think that that's sometimes more of the question. And I mean, this is not like losing a child by any stretch of the imagination, but when I left the industry...
Oh no, grief is grief, and that's grief.
Yeah, when I left the industry, I had basically another mini nervous breakdown, because I had identified as being this person in the industry for most of my life. So now who am I without that? And I spent probably about a decade looking at what that was and trying to identify myself as other things. And then I came to the realization that I am me. That's who I am. And I just happen to express in different ways.
Yes. And it took me, and I have to admit, when Kelly died, I had done a ton of training in, personal development, in spiritual growth. And, so I had a good foundation. I knew what was happening. I knew, and it was sort of like, okay, I'm not going to be this person that, oh, well, don't grieve, don't be sad. Blah, blah, blah. Right. No. Right. That I knew that I was going to have to sit in my shit. Right. And that I was going to pick my way through. Yes. I was going to be okay with every single moment. Oof. And be grateful. And it's so weird that I can sit here to this day and be grateful
Yes.
for the loss of my son.
Okay.
I
Expound on
had
that,
him.
please.
I had him. I had the joy of him.
Mm.
However, what I learned from his death, from his leaving, from what he wanted to free me to be, to find myself
Oh,
in such a
wow.
profound way that freed me of shoot. Now this has happened, this is gone, this is no longer. Who are you going to choose to be? And it took me a while to be grateful for even that experience.
Wow.
Right? Because so many people are like, and I thought I'll never be able to. However, I look back, Kelly was sick. He was mentally ill. He was struggling with drugs and, mental issues. And God love people that have children that are struggling. I know it's the hardest thing in the world. You live day and night being in fear that something's going to happen to your child, and you're waiting for that phone to ring 24/7 at night. And the phone when he died did ring at 3:00 in the morning. It's like, maybe it was 2:30. So, it was that phone call. However, that alleviated that, right? That constant pressure, that constant fear, that constant to be like, and then Kelly, I sat for about 4 years. I thought, oh, wow, my life is over. I have nothing.
Oh, wow.
I really have nothing. And it was sort of like your breakdown. I don't know if it was a breakdown as much as a sit-in of how, what do I do now? What do I do now? How do I process this? Am I ever going to get through this? And it's like walking through fog. Am I ever going to forgive myself? Am I ever going to forgive him? Am I ever going to forgive his biological dad? There were so many things that I had to work through. And then also, what do I do career-wise? Is there anything that I want to do? I don't do anything. I was like, this just life sounds like, kids don't want an adult. I didn't want a life.
Okay.
Wow. So then finally, it was my birthday, and I was turning 63 because I'm 68, so that's 5 years. 63. And it was February 19th, and I'd been sitting for about 4 years. So it was my birthday, and it was just Paul and I. And we had planned, it was during COVID. So we had planned a Zoom with this medium that she talked about. She said things to us that was like out of this world stuff out of this world. She was just, it was like Kelly was sitting right next to her. So I hadn't talked to her in years. So I said to Paul, I'd kind of like to see if Kelly could come through on my birthday. It would be really nice. So we planned this Zoom. Paul was making me a steak. We're going to have a really good red wine. I was all excited. I was painting my nails because one of my nails, when you have red fingernail polish, and one of them had chipped, I was like getting ready because I thought, I'm getting ready. It was almost like I was getting ready to see my son. Yeah. So I was making sure everything was perfect. I was painting my red nails and doing this, making sure they looked really good. And Paul was going to make the steak, and we were going to have this Zoom meeting with this woman who was like outrageously great. And my agent calls me, and you're 63. How many calls do you get?
I get none.
She calls, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm overweight. I look like a frumpadump. It's, it's my birthday. So anyway, she calls and she goes, can you do a real quick taped audition and get it in today? And I'm like, wow. I'm thinking, do I just say no? Because I'm looking forward to having and this just seems like a pain in the keister because, you're going to have to set up the thing. Yep. I'm going to have to somehow do something. And then she wanted me to learn a rap song. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate rap. I do. I love rap, but I didn't know DaBaby, and I didn't know Brandon Lamborghini. Pistol on my hip like I'm a cop. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never ran. I didn't know this song. So here I'm trying, and my husband, God bless him, he goes, Beth, just do it really quick. And we thought what they wanted was a variety of people, because I look like this, and he's a young Black rapper, that he was going to do a massive choir behind him. You know how they do that on the Grammys, and it was for the Grammys. So he said, just put a scarf on, and they wanted you to move like you were in a choir, so to speak. And he said, just do that and learn it real quick. So he's holding up the cue cards, and I'm trying to sing along with it. And I'm Brandon Lamborghini, pistol on my hip like I'm a cop. Yeah. And my dogs are jumping up on my leg. And we don't even stop videoing. I'm just like, I don't care. Send it in. Yes. I'm not going to redo it. I'm not going to do anything. So we send it in because I just wanted to get on with my birthday. So we had this amazing birthday. She came through the medium. She said, well, first I just want to say happy birthday. She didn't know it was my birthday. And Kelly wanted me to say happy birthday. And then we were talking a little longer, and she was asking about the Irish thing. And, because we have this Irish tattoo, and because he was Kelly Callahan McCabe. I don't know how much Irish you could get than that. This was his tattoo that he had on his back that he was like, why'd I get it on my back? I could never see it. So I took a picture of it for him so he could see it. And then Paul and I had it on our arms on his birthday. But she said this, and this is what's so wild. She goes, oh, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but he wants me to tell you, he loves your fingernails. Because I'd spent the time.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if she knew that my nails were polished because, you're seeing this.
Yeah.
So anyway, to fast forward with that, I got the job.
And that was, because I wondered how that had happened. Because I remember, you had posted about it. And I wondered about the series of events. That is so amazing. And thank you for sharing that story. Because one of the other things that this podcast, one of my intentions with this podcast is encouragement, to let people know it's never too late. The time is always now. It's never any other time. And so why not just go for it? As we started this recording talking about going for it. That is what you do.
And then it blossomed into even more. Okay, so here's my birthday, my 63rd birthday. It was the 63rd Grammys. I was seeing my son. I had this audition. Thank goodness for my husband, because he was like, Beth, just do it.
Yeah.
I was authentic enough after going through everything that I had been through to go, I don't care. I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to send it in the way that it is. They loved it the way it was. I'm sure they laughed at the dogs jumping up on me. This little, I was 22 pounds heavier, chubby woman, trying with this and this, trying to sing Brandon Lamborghini, pistol on my hip. I mean, it must have been comedy relief, right? It couldn't have been funnier, because he's also a bad boy. DaBaby's a bad boy. So I get the gig, and it's during COVID, so you have to go down, and it was the most amazing experience of my lifetime. And we've had some great ones in our career.
Yes, we have. Yeah.
We've had, and I think I enjoyed it so much more because of my age,
right,
and because of everything that I'd been through. Mm-hmm. This was like, all of a sudden, after all of this, I had this like, oh, wow, it's the Grammys. And we would be rehearsing on this huge stage, Trevor Noah coming out and announcing all this, and you hear in your earbuds, okay, this is going out to billions of people. So this is the one that, and it was during COVID, so there wasn't a live audience. Mm-hmm. It was us, we were in the convention center. It was us, Bad Bunny. He was all set up to go next.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, a lizard just ran by my window right here.
Really?
Yes.
Ah!
A big one, about this big, just ran by.
Oh my God.
Bad Bunny was here and Dua Lipa was here. So we had to wait for everybody to go. So we got to watch all these people. But when they said, okay, get ready to go, we were like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And the choreographer at the time, it was before she exploded, was Charm LaDonna.
Get out.
No, she did Kendrick.
Yes.
She did Beyonce.
Yes. And then she just do Bad Bunny?
Yes, she just did Bad Bunny. But this was before all of that.
Right.
So, I mean, we had no idea, but she was fabulous. It was one of those experiences, right? That you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. This is all coming together. So, a good friend of ours that you know, and who's been a good friend of mine, Cheryl Baxter Ratliff, of 47 years.
I don't know Cheryl.
Well, she was the choreographer for Oslo. She and Bruce Heath. She was his assistant. Dark-haired. She was in Oslo with us.
Wait a minute.
She knows you.
Oh my God.
Dark hair. She was his assistant. She flew in for a couple of days and then she flew home.
Okay, that's why I'm not recalling.
Yeah, she didn't stay long. Yeah, wow. She didn't stay long.
Okay.
But we've been friends for 47 years. I met her the year I moved out here to LA. So anyway, she dyes her hair, right? And I had let my hair go gray for COVID, right? I did this in celebration of COVID. So she didn't get the gig because we will always get the same gigs. They would pick a blonde, they pick a brunette.
Right.
And for some reason, we worked all the time together. So she hadn't gotten the gig because she didn't have gray hair. And they hired 6 of us that were gray haired. Well, one of these women, because you had to come down and have your COVID test, couldn't get down there in time to have her COVID test. So our agent called Cheryl because she was of the age. Yeah. And said, if you can get down there, you can have the job. So she sends me a picture of her getting her COVID test. And I'm like, and it's in the same tunnel as the convention center. I'm like, wow, what? So she did it with me. So we're driving home from this event. And here we both are, 63, we're the same age. And we're like, wow, how cool is this that we've done this? And I turned to her and I said, I just feel like there's something here. We need to jump on it. And I swear, Spirit, you know that feeling that you have? I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew it had to be done. And I was sort of like, there's something to be done here. Because what happened is Trevor Noah, he had to do the comedy, right? And because there was no audience to talk to, so he had to just have a dialogue with the camera. Right. So he goes, well, that was the baby and the baby boomers. Right? Because it was us, these old folks up there. Hysterical. And what is even funnier, this is inside. When we were rehearsing this and Trevor would do that, the baby didn't know what boomers were. So his people, he would talk to his people would go to Trevor Noah's people going, hey, no, it's just Roddy Ricch and Anthony Hamilton and myself. I don't know what you're talking about, these baby boomers. I don't know what that is. Finally, and he would always stop and tell Trevor not to do that. Trevor's people had to come back. Finally, Trevor Noah comes all the way onto the set, talks to the baby and goes, hey, the baby, turn around. See those people up there? They're called boomers. They're from a generation called boomers. He goes, I got to do the comedy. Buddy, this is funny. And he's like, oh, okay, I get it. But, he's so young. His mother's probably in her 30s. It's like, they're just young. They don't know. He didn't know.
Oh, but that is hilarious, though. He didn't know what baby boomers were.
I don't think so. I mean, I'll give him more credit than that, but he wasn't thinking. I'm sure his mind was on a heavy-duty Grammy performance, which I thought was brilliant. Okay. I have to admit. that man did a brilliant, if you can look it up, you can look it up on YouTube. Brilliant. In the 1960s, it was the 63rd Grammys. He had a classical violinist. He had Roddy Ricch, Anthony Hamilton. He directed us. He was beautiful. He did an incredible, and what an artistic young man. I hope he does something with his life, because there is art there. And he had Charm LaDonna. He was so smart. Just think how smart he was.
Yes.
He was foreshadowing what was to come with her.
Right. Right.
So anyway, driving home, I just said, I think there is something there. So Cheryl and I jumped on the bandwagon. My husband was already on TikTok. I had posted who let the dogs out, and it showed my dog's tail, just thinking, I don't know what this TikTok is, play around. But I had posted one thing that happened to, it was an accident. But my husband said, there's a dance challenge on TikTok where girls are dancing around a Lamborghini to the song, brand new Lamborghini.
Okay.
The song is called Rockstar. And I'm like, really? So Cheryl and I get on, we look at this Rockstar video, and we go, oh, well, we can do that dance. We're professional dancers.
Right.
People think Cheryl and I are like just neighbors that get together and dance. I'm not kidding you, Jackie. I'm like, damn it, we are professional dancers. You try to do this, and look in sync and together, and your moves are together,
Right.
Cheryl and I can look really similar. So you can't just do that with your neighbor.
Right.
So anyway, we get, we don't have a Lamborghini, and people are doing it in the street. And so Cheryl's husband, George Ratliff, who they met in Sophisticated Ladies, he came in right as the show was closing in Los Angeles at the Schubert. And then we went to Vegas, and he was the Stuart Marlin part.
Okay.
For me. So he was my partner in Las Vegas, and he and Cheryl met in the show.
Oh.
And that's how they got married.
Cool.
So, and their son is Ellington, who's named after
Duke Ellington.
Duke Ellington. So George goes, well, I have a minivan. Why don't you come out of the minivan?
It's called Use What You Got.
Well, and I love humor.
Yeah.
I love me some, laugh at me all you want.
Yeah, I heard that.
I am up for it, baby. So we came out of this minivan, jumping in the street, and we do this whole dance, looking really good together, doing this whole big thing. Our first video went to over 1 million views. We sat in my kitchen and watched it just go. It was during the time when the algorithm, when who was big at the time? She's a heavier set.
Oh, I can't think of her name. She plays flute?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's so amazing. It was when all of her hits came. What's her name?
And I can hear people listening to this or watching this now screaming her name.
Yes, they're screaming, going, you two women with no brains anymore. Yeah, it's not CeeLo.
You know what? I'll put her name. I'll find because I know who you're talking about.
It's the Google.
Yeah. Are you Googling it now?
I'm going to do it. I'll try to continue to talk as I Google her.
Okay.
So anyway, it was during her time, and she was, she would put up a video, and her videos the algorithm, she would go to like 13 million in a nanosecond. Now you can't do that. So,
right.
Yeah, it's totally.
It's completely
changed.
different. It's
yeah. Hold on. This is driving me crazy. Let's see.
Well, while you're looking,
Lizzo,
yes. Even though people have been screaming it for the last 2
they
minutes.
have been screaming, you silly women.
We just have lots to think about.
We do. We have so much in our brains now.
So much in our brains.
So much.
And I have to take a side note. I love that you're upfront about your age. first of all, you look phenomenal. And I'm not saying you look phenomenal for your age. I just like to say you look phenomenal because there's the other misconception is it's old. It's like you get to a certain age and then your life is over. And it's like, no, honey, it's like at 68, I'm the best I've ever been. Not 20, not 19, not 18, but 68. Right now, I'm the best I've ever been. And that is something that message does not get out enough because people are demanding a better quality of life. They don't want to be old and broken down. And some people don't assume that that's what's going to happen to them. Lots of people do. Oh, you're getting older, so of course you're going to have this and that and the other and all these things wrong. But I think that you age based on your beliefs also. It's not just, how well or not you've taken care of yourself or whether you've been exposed to things, but it's also your mindset. Your mindset plays a huge role in how you gain time on this planet. I won't say age. Gain time, mature. It's really a mindset.
And I agree with you. And there's so much I want to say about that. I know I'm going to forget what I wanted to say, but to go back to that to a certain degree, I think, I have no idea what a 68 is supposed to look like for me. I didn't know what 20 was supposed to look like.
Right.
And I feel bad sometimes for my 30-year-old self that was wanting to be the 20-year-old self.
Yeah.
It's like, enjoy where you are. I'm never going to be 68 again.
Right.
And you have to look at, and I think, when you're younger, you don't think about this. You're in this growing hustle, go phase of life. And I was reading The New Earth again by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, I love that book so much.
I was rereading it, and he was talking about the passages of life. You have this where you're beginning as a baby and an infant, and then you grow into the hustle of this young sexual thing. And, now I'm in this other knowledgeable, peaceful,
full of wisdom,
all-knowing,
comfortable in your own skin.
And it's the fall. It's the returning back to spirit. Yeah. And he's got a word for it. I was going to look. He's got a stage for it. I was going to look it up before I got on the podcast. I got busy doing something else. But he's actually got a name for this stage that I'm in. And I was like, oh, that's right. I'm in this stage where I will be returning to my spirit, to just my spirit. This shell, this, as the kids would say, this meat casing is, Lady Gaga did so great wearing meat all over her body and whatnot. It will fall away, right? And I think people don't want to look at it when you're in the hustle. You don't want to realize, there's this arc. There is this returning back to earth, returning back to spirit, returning back to God, whatever you believe. And that's where I sort of am. And also, I want to be as vibrant and alive as I can. That's what I'm choosing.
Yes.
I think there's some people at this stage that choose otherwise. No judgment.
But I think a lot of that choice is unconscious in the sense of people just assume everybody around them is breaking down. They have elders in their family that are all maybe in different forms of disability. So this is what people see for the most part, and this is what people assume will happen to them. But what I'm so excited about is seeing women our age and older, because I just saw a fierce video about Betsy Johnson, the fashion designer.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see that video?
Yes.
Wasn't that video fierce?
I'm just like, I want to look like that.
But the thing is, it's her vibrancy. That is spirit. You are that when you're born. You are that when your body falls away and you return to the non-physical. You are that. That is who you are. When people go, I don't know who I am, you are spirit.
You are
and
spirit.
if you
Your
can
energy,
find
total
that
energy.
yes, you're pure positive, as Abraham Hicks says, you're pure positive energy. And if you can really get that, grasp that, and connect to that as much as possible and be more conscious about it, you will have different experiences in life on all phases of life. And that's why a lot of times, even if you talk to an elder, I say we're the elders in training because there's still people on the planet that are older than us. Soon we will be the elders, but right now I say we're the elders in training. So when you speak to an elder, even with the affirmities that they may have, there's a vibrancy behind the eyes that they've had from the time they were born, and that's your spirit. And if you can connect to that, that's going to change and define your maturity on the planet.
I agree. And I'm really grateful that whatever personality I have, I've always been open.
Yeah.
Open to change, open to, and I think change is the scariest thing for people. I don't want to change my hair, or I don't want to change this. I want to stay in the same thing. Yeah. I identify as this. I identify as that. And I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm open. Don't identify me.
Right.
I'm open. Right. You want to cut my hair short. You want me to do whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That's just an example. But I think that a lot of times people, when they, arise to our age, they go, oh, I'm going to retire. And now I'm going to sit on the couch and relax. And they stop to create, to envision, to imagine, to dream, aspire, to dream.
Yes.
To dream.
Absolutely.
And so they think that they've arrived at something. I'm a realtor still with my husband. There's so many things that I still do. We always say we're never retiring.
No, what are you retiring from? I can see if you're working a job you hate and you've done this for 20 years. Okay, so you're retiring. But some people, when they do retire from a job, they retire from life and they stop.
Yes.
All the things that we talked about, dreaming, creating, they stop doing all of that because they think their life is over. And the beauty of having a lot of time on the planet is and you're open, as you said, you never ever run out of things to do. You never ever run out of ideas, creativity. You are always ever inspired when you remain open.
And that takes me back to, here we are. We did our first TikTok and there was pushback. We actually had some other people that were going to do this with us. And it came, to Cheryl and I, and it was a little convincing here and there. And, because it was different.
Yes.
You want to do what? And, people were afraid of, people are going to say bad things about us. We're older people on a young people's format. Are we going to be made fun of? Are people going to be silly? Can we do this? Are people, when people get in their heads instead of in their body and in their hearts.
Yes.
People, I saw these people get into their heads and start coming up with all these stories that weren't even true. Oh, we're going to be legally with this or that, or, and it's like, calm down.
Right.
It's a TikTok.
Hey, calm down. Yes.
I don't know why I knew that. I just knew we're going to be fine and we need to do this.
Yeah.
So the ones that meant to fall away, fell away. And the ones that meant to stay, and it was Cheryl and I. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness for Cheryl, because every day we said we won't quit on the same day. And it's been 5 years. And we've made a living for 5 years.
I love it.
Doing TikToks and Instagrams and YouTube, working for Consumer Cellular, Cox Communication, Symbiotica, Home Goods. I mean, there are so, Nature Made. I mean, Waymo. We were in driverless cars. I mean, we worked for so many corporations. We made a living from something we created, we shot, we thought of. Thank you, Trevor Noah. We thought of, and we were brave enough to step forward, figure out the technology, the editing, the shooting, getting together, making, and thank goodness we come from the background of discipline that we do.
Yeah.
Because Cheryl and I knew about being disciplined. Our social media agent says our social media agent is the same age as, our children.
I love it.
And he actually is the son of our original agent, who's our age, that used to show up at Cheryl's birthday parties as a little boy with the red ball. And we've got a picture of that.
Oh, I love that.
So when we're on calls with corporations, Cheryl will show this to the PR team, that's marketing team, and go, this is our agent. And he'll be on with us going, Cheryl, put the picture away. That sort of thing. So, I mean, it's all full circle. And, Cheryl and I both think that a lot of this was God sent by Kelly.
Yeah.
Mom, I think you're ready to do something different. I'm going to give you something really big that you can handle. And because I jumped in, the pendulum did swing. I don't know if there's a swing after you lose a child, but it swung a little bit for me, brought me some joy, brought me something to do, with something that I could feel proud of, that I could do.
Yeah.
And, we always, Cheryl and I both always say, Kelly had a hand in this.
Sure. I mean, I love when we're connected. We're always connected. We were connected before we showed up in this life, and it's eternal. We're all in love and of love, always. I think, again, the buzzword is being open to possibilities. And you guys didn't allow yourselves to let whatever doubts that you may have had or other people had to sway you, because what you knew, Beth, was something that was very internal. It was very intuitive to be moved in that direction. You you saw something that could be, and then you guys went about manifesting it. And it's what's scary is that, and I was talking to two friends about this who are in technology. I said, the phones are killing us. They're killing our children because it's limiting and shutting down creativity. And as long as you maintain your creativity and your imagination and your curiosity and all of that, life just wants to do this. It just wants to give. And it doesn't mean that you won't have trials and tribulations and challenges and all that other stuff, but it's to be lived, it's to be experienced, it's to be expressed. And when you can do that, and the thing is, you sat with where you were, you honored where you were every step of the way in that process. In your grief process, you didn't deny it. You didn't say, I shouldn't be doing this. Or if you did, you didn't stay there. You allowed yourself to be and accepted yourself. And you did the other thing was forgive. Oh man, people get hung up on that forgiveness thing. Forgiving yourself, forgiving the other person, that is so incredibly freeing when you forgive.
Well, and what the revelation really was to me is that this life is this journey. This is my journey. This was I'm not sure if it's supposed to have happened, but we get all the good, the bad, the ugly, the fabulous, and it's our life.
Yes.
That's our tapestry, as Carole King would say, of our life.
I love that song. I love that song.
If you're listening to this, go look at Carole King and
play the album. Oh, I'm sorry. Play the MP3.
And it really dawned on me, Kelly, I've had 2 cancers, all the bad, all the good, you know, it's all made me who I am. It's like I have this really full, exciting life because I have felt everything, all the emotions that a human can feel and deal with. And I've been so grateful for that opportunity that I'm going to be able, when I return, that I had all that.
Yeah.
Because it's been amazing.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's like when you can sit in your life and see all of it, the whole arc of it up into the present moment, when you can give gratitude for all of that. You know, sometimes I will share my story about my childhood and people are like, that happened to you? And the thing that I'm beginning to understand now is that these were things I experienced because, you know, like a lot of times you can fall victim. You can say, oh, this happened to me and this happened to me. But it's really experiences that you had, that you were a part of. And ultimately, you decide how you use those experiences,
how they're going to shape you,
whether this is something that you're going to lay down and die in because you experienced this, or as most people think it happened to you, or are you going to go, okay, well, you know what, I experienced these things and they were extraordinarily painful and some of it was cruel, yes, but ultimately I'm in the space I'm in because of those experiences. And I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that can relate to you. And to go back to this whole creation thing that we created, we had no idea what we were going to be creating because, okay, one, we created finances for ourselves. Yeah. Two, then we were like, oh, young women are looking up to us as mother figures.
And
so we always were like, oh, so, you know, we've got to be careful of the cussing, of how we present ourselves, the ho-ness of it or not, and we never wanted to do that. Well, first off, it's just not Cheryl and I either, but,
right. Okay.
And then, we were like, oh, and now we're this inspiration for women our age.
Exactly.
That are coming into this new turn of fall, headed into this third stage. And it's like, oh, wow, we have responsibilities to stay and show. And, because let me tell you, it hasn't been like, woo, we got on TikTok and everybody loved us and nobody said anything bad. Oh no. I mean, we had pushback, I have had so many people, say, is that your mother, Cheryl? We're the same age.
Oh,
just
boy.
because of hair color, get off TikTok, you old ladies. And, we've had some really good doozies of, comments. So we've had, which you expect when you get on social media, right? I mean, if you're going to be on, you got to have some backbone.
Yeah.
And so we were prepared for that because a lot of the people that fell away didn't have the backbone. They were like, nah, I don't want to put myself in that position. And I think that's great. If you know that about yourself, good. Don't.
See, I love the block button, the delete button. It's like, you out, you out, you out, you
totally.
out,
Totally. We learned that block.
Yes, honey, I use that button. And I remember something that my dad said to me. I was in single digits when he said this to me. He said that if somebody is going to sit and criticize what you're doing, they ain't about nothing. They would be busy doing what it is that they want to do, and they wouldn't have time to criticize you and to speak ill of you. And that has stayed with me because I find that there's so much vitriol now, and the things that people write, sometimes I'm like, you didn't have anything better to do? And then what did that actually do for you? You wrote that nasty comment and you still broke, you still miserable, You still, in the situation that you're in because you felt you needed to show your dissatisfaction with your life by hurling something evil at somebody else.
Well, and I even have gotten to the place where I go, oh my gosh, I'm so flattered that you took your precious time, because that's all we have.
Yeah.
Your precious time to write to me. Love you.
That is a very enlightened way to look at it. I'm like, not you.
Oh, there are some times, Cheryl and I, depending on the day, we laugh all the time, and she'll be like, when they think it's AI, or I'll be like, oh, we're going to have somebody that's going to come back wanting to fight because I was snotty. However, overall, I do find it, any press is good press.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, wow, you watched, you paid attention.
That's true.
I stirred something up in you.
That's
and
true.
You took the time to do all of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But like I said, that's a very enlightened way to look at it. And I think that's a more healthy way to look at it. Because that is so true. You stirred something in them. The fact that they had to feel they needed to hurl their negativity in your direction is really a reflection of them ultimately. And the fact that they did watch, because a lot of times it's jealousy. They want to be doing something creative, but instead of going ahead and creating something for themselves, they would rather just look at other people that are doing their thing and have something negative to say about it. And it's like, come on, people. There's a better way. There's a different choice you can make in that moment.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's jealousy or not. I just think in this world today, there's a lot of unhappy people.
A lot of unhappy people. A lot of miserable people.
Yeah, and so, we get a lot of men that, make fun of us and, but I think that says a lot about, what women are supposed to look like.
Yes.
And be on social media. Mm-hmm. And, maybe there are some men out there that prefer a younger woman, and more power to you.
Yeah.
Usually when I click on their profile, there is no picture.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, but, and so the tearing down of somebody else sometimes makes people feel better.
Makes them feel bigger
about themselves.
Yes.
And we run across that a lot, and I think we've handled it really well.
I think that's really beautiful, because that is also part of for if you're on the receiving end of that, that's also part of your development, how you handle it, whether you allow it to upset you to the point that you can't sleep, or you have an upset stomach, or it like shows itself physically, or whether you can just acknowledge, like I said, that's a reflection on this person. If they were happy, they wouldn't have written that comment.
And it goes back to what we were saying about being open.
Yeah,
you have to be open to the good and bad. If you're gonna, any business, any creative, you're going to have critics that love you, critics that don't.
Right.
So if you're going to be afraid that, I want to look perfect and I don't want people to say bad things about me, and if you're worried about this, that, and the other thing, then crawl in that hole and cover up, because that's never going to be the case. So you might as well just go, here I am, and just have at it.
Have at it. I mean, but that's also one of the beautiful things about being on the planet for a period of time, a longer period of time, because stuff that bothered you at 20, you ain't thinking about at 68. No. You're like, I'm doing this over here. You stay over there. You go do that over there. I'm over here, doing my thing.
Jacquie, I just got new headshots done. I don't know why, but I did. And, oh my God, they came in and I was like, who is this person, right? Because, they're up close.
Yeah.
There were no touch-ups.
Okay.
She tried to do some creative, dramatic light siding. It wasn't frontal light that washes everything out. And I sat there with those pictures and went, I don't think I'm going to touch them up.
Good for you. Good for you.
Because I don't really care.
Ooh, that's also what happens with being a little bit seasoned, where you don't
really care. Yeah. Because you know what? I'm not gonna get all the plastic. I mean, Kris Jenner, she's what, this age, my age, and she looks like she's as old as her daughters. But that's somebody who's used their money in a different way. Yeah. And they have a lot of money to use it in a different way. I don't have that luxury. There's got to be a place in this world for this.
But that's why I'm excited. Like when I started to see you guys on TikTok, I was so excited about it because I said, okay, this is another message. This is a message that's important for people who are considerably younger to see that life does not end when you hit 40. That women are vibrant. Women will be vibrant as long as they're vibrant. It's like there's no expiration date on vibrancy because it doesn't come from the physical. It comes from within. It comes from spirit. So there is no end date on vibrancy. And when you engage in your life, you become an active participant. You become an intentional participant in terms of the experiences that you want to experience. The world just, the light, everything just opens for you. And it doesn't mean that you don't experience stuff, but
totally.
The greater part of your life is that of the thing that you are, which is a reflection of your vibrancy.
Right. And I think as you mature through this journey, it's really about, getting closer and closer to who you are authentically. Mm-hmm. Getting closer and closer to spirit, to God, to, how you came into this world, how you're going to be exiting this world. And I feel the most authentic and just so grateful. And, I'm so incredibly grateful for you in my life and how you came into my life. And how you helped me at that time of my deepest and darkest sorrow.
Thank you so much for that.
I don't know how you knew, but you knew, and thank God for Kelly choosing you.
Yeah, it was
and knowing
it was an extraordinary thing to be a participant in. The fact that this was an entity to speak to me on your behalf. I just thought that was such an incredible honor. Very quickly, I'll tell you briefly, when we were in Oslo, I can't remember the woman's name that was the dance captain, but she was she was a little,
Did she stay the whole time?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Tell your story.
She stayed the whole time. We were in the same dressing room, and she was a little weird toward me. She was just really weird. She wasn't really talking to me very much. And the very last day of the show, I had started getting information for another cast member because she was on a path that was going to possibly result in her death. That was the information I was given. And
the dance captain was?
Not the dance captain. Somebody else in the cast. She was on a really destructive journey, the path at that point. And I kept getting information that last day to give her. And so it was like a stream. It was just a flood of information and that I was to give her. And so I was just kind of talking nonstop. And then I turned to the dance captain and I said, and you. And so at this moment, I knew that it wasn't Jacquie, the person speaking, that it was the information that was coming through me that was saying, and you, and I think I said something like, you need to talk to me. And I just started telling her stuff. And her eyes welled up, and it happened that her father was speaking through me to her, and she just started bawling, and she talked to me more that day than she had in the 10 days we were out there. But she was giving me background on what had happened. She was not present when her father died. She was still carrying guilt about that, and I think if I remember correctly, they had like a kind of tumultuous last few years of his life. And so she was so racked with guilt. And he was so happy that he could finally get his message to her, because he told me he had been trying. He was telling me all the stuff that he was trying, all the ways he was trying to get her attention. And so he just kept going. And she just was looking at me like, oh my God, how could you possibly know that? And the funny thing about it is, I'm telling her, and then it's like, oh, it's time for us to go out. And I remember we were doing the mooch, and he was still talking to me. And we're like this, right? Going through the movements, and he's rattling off nonstop. And I'm going, I know where you are, there's no time, but right now I'm doing a show and I can't talk to you right now.
I gotta mooch, I gotta beat bongos.
That's right. I said, I'm sorry.
I gotta pick the cherries, put them in the basket. Pick
cherries and put them in the basket. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you. And as soon as I got off, he kept going, and I was like, I gotta go. I can't talk to you right now. And that went on through the whole show, where he just kept talking. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you right now. And I can't listen either. So
that's a great story. That's a great story.
But you know, woman, we could talk forever. I'm going to wrap this up. Please tell people where they can find you, then the baby boomers.
Yeah, on TikTok, we're Da Baby Boomers, all one word. That's on TikTok and Instagram. And on YouTube, it's Beth and Cheryl the Baby Boomers.
Okay, beautiful. And that'll be in the show notes. So please go follow these dynamic women that are trailblazers. You guys are trailblazers.
Oh, well, that's sweet of you to say. I'm just glad that we followed our hearts and instincts. And I have to admit, you know, Cheryl and I have been friends for 47 years, and it has been even the biggest blessing to do this with a friend, because our collaboration, our friendship, our business friendship, it has made us so close. People go, are you guys sisters? It's like sisters. And I love her so much. So I'm grateful that I've had that opportunity to work with her the last 5 years like that, so close. And thank you for saying this.
You have shared so much with us, deep things, and your message about the gratitude and the forgiveness and being open. Those are things that I hope you guys listening and watching, that you take with you, and just allow the best spirit to just lift you up even more. Thank you so much.
Enjoy the journey. Thank you.
That's right.
I love you, Jacquie.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.